Hi everyone, welcome. I'm Shelly, also known as Letters by Shells, and welcome to Designs and Doodles, where I talk all about my workflow today. So I'm going to go ahead and share a quick introduction about me. Sorry. Okay, so a few things. I'm a lettering artist and instructor. I'm also an illustrator and DIYer. These are a couple of things that I've created. Yeah, I just really love fun, colorful things. And I started my whole art journey back in 2015 as a way to just de-stress and just like think about something else outside of work. I was really stressed out at my full-time job and I wanted a creative escape and just to like have fun creating. My whole goal was to decorate my work cubicle with positive, fun, colorful affirmations. And yeah, I'm really happy I started creating art. Never knew people would be really interested. I started posting my artwork on Instagram, and in 2018, I officially went full time. So I'm really happy and honored to be able to create on a daily basis. And I'm so happy that my art resonates with a lot of people as well. So for today's live call, I thought it'd be really fun to talk a little bit about my work process where when it comes to sketching and drawing in Adobe Fresco. And then I'll just like brainstorm in there and finalize a couple of my illustrations. And then we'll take it over to my artwork in Adobe Illustrator and create the final product. But yeah, so that is a couple of things. So I'm going to go ahead and now pull up my Illustrator file. So I was really thinking about what type of artwork I wanted to showcase today. So I'm currently working on a card collection that I'll be launching hopefully by the summertime this year. So these are a couple of cards that I'm doing. I'm motivating myself, or like I'm pushing myself to create 3 artworks each week until the summertime. So these are a couple of illustrations that I've created. And this is just like an illustration and breakdown of what I do. Um, yeah, I just thought it would be really fun to talk a little bit about that process, what goes into it, and all that fun stuff. So I think for this live call, I thought it'd be really fun to break down this card process today so you can kind of see the visual of what it's going to look like and just go and take a look at my process for that. Awesome. So one second, let me go ahead and share my iPad. But yeah, everyone feeling good so far? Hope you are. I'm going to take a look at the live chat really fast to see if anyone has any questions. But yes, hi everyone. Oh yeah, hi Bruce. Yes, I was on Adobe Max, the online session for the last Adobe Max. Yes. Is a birthday hand lettered? Yeah, Sean. So yeah, the birthday is all hand lettered as well, and I'll talk a bit about that process and my brainstorm with that. Awesome. Yeah, keep the questions coming. If you have any other questions, feel free to let me know. And let me just go ahead and pull up my iPad. 1 second. Is my iPad? Sorry, all. I did. Yes. Okay. Awesome. Okay. Amazing. So here's my iPad. Sorry for that delay. Um, so yeah. So my what I'm working on, so I'm basically open up the Fresco app and I currently have the size dimensions 4.25 by 5.5 inches. And this is going to be what we're going to be working on. So when it comes to creating greeting cards, I don't create like the final thing in Fresco. I'll create like the brainstorm, the breakdown, but I'll finalize it in Illustrator. So with that, yeah, any questions on the settings, let me know. Okay, so then let's go ahead and I like to first use the pixel brushes. So I'll go ahead and open up pixel brushes, go down to sketching, and I chose the pencil brush. And this is kind of where I just break down the whole idea of the greeting cards. So my whole goal is to make sure my hand lettering is in this center portion right here. And then I'll go ahead and just draw all the fun elements around it like that. So this is like the visual breakdown of that process. And then I'll have like other tiny details here where I'll fill in with um just to fill the negative space here. But yeah, so that is that breakdown. So I'm first going to write happy birthday in the center right here just to have like a rough idea. Okay, and this is just like a sketch process. So I'm going to go ahead and finalize everything in just a second. So I like to hand letter and just like sketch it out. I will refine this for sure as I'm using the final brushes, but basically just kind of like seeing how I like the composition. I know I wrote it really big. But yeah, let me try it one more time. And if it's too big, we can always resize it. Yep, so that's that. I'm going to use this brush right there just to go ahead and highlight and select the area that I want to resize. Okay, and then just choose the transform and just really resize it like that. So I know it looks like a super sketch process, but hopefully that kind of gives a breakdown. But yes, hi everyone. Aw. So now with that breakdown, I want to basically just like mirror the artwork from left to right and go ahead. Let's fill this area with like a giant present using my sketch brush again. So that's just that breakdown. And then I'm just going to draw everything once using the vector brushes, but you'll kind of get the idea. This is what it's going to look like. We can always like move things around, things like that. So now I thought it'd be really fun to draw like a cake right here. Yeah, and then honestly, I just have fun with this process. It's just really um, illustrations that make you happy. So this is like kind of my sketch process of what I like to do. Maybe we can go ahead and add sprinkles here. Awesome, like that. Yay. I know I keep resizing, so hopefully that is okay. Let me know if you want me to stop. But when it comes to just kind of like taking a step back, I like to just visually see everything come together. And maybe I'll make this a little bit bigger just to like help with the sizing of the present. Okay. And also, I'm going to choose the area and open up my layers tab and just duplicate the selection. And I'm going to just put it over here on the upper right corner and just choosing this brush right here. Not the brush, but like reflecting that. But yeah, I hope you kind of get the whole breakdown. I like to just use the same elements left to right and just like putting them in opposite directions. I feel like that for me, it's an easier way to just create the greeting cards. But I mean, I think it's also really fun having like different illustrations in the artwork as well. But for this card, I thought it'd be just a fun breakdown to do this way. So I want to now start filling the negative space around it. So I thought it'd be nice to add like a fun little bow right here. And I'll add it on the left side or the right side as well. Yeah. And then just add some like fun illustrations. So again, I'm just going to draw everything once and then we'll just copy and paste it into Illustrator. But there are some times where if I'm drawing these like little confetti, I might draw a couple variations of it. So that way it's kind of different throughout. But yeah, just having fun and taking a step back and seeing how I like to just like fill the negative space here. Oh, I do love cherries. Oh, I honestly, when I came up with this initial sketch, I was gonna draw like a birthday candle, but then I decided, okay, I'm gonna do cherries. And I just didn't realize it matches my cardigan today with the cherries. How fun. I'm just double checking the comments here. 1 second. How fun. Thank you all for joining. Oh, thank you so much for all the kind words, Maggie. Yes, no, hand lettering, I feel like the spacing is really, really hard. I know, so like I started hand lettering, I started my whole like lettering journey like in 2015. So I know I wish I can give like a better breakdown, but maybe I will when I sketch the final product. Yeah, I think that'll be fun. Yeah. But just having fun with this process and seeing, okay, I just drew the same thing. So I'm going to step away now. But yeah, this is kind of my whole sketch process. So there is like some penciling and journaling that I do beforehand this. I just wanted to be a little bit prepared today. So if you have like for like more questions with my design process, let me know. I'd love to answer and provide some like tips and things like that. But yeah, so I like to just reuse the same elements because almost feel like it's just a lot easier for me just to not overthink in terms of like having too many illustrations. Like this is a really nice way to just see how we can reuse the same elements and it'll still look nice. So if I use the same elements, what I'll do to make it different is just change the colors a bit. So it looks a little bit different. Yeah. So this is just like confetti that I'm adding. I may not add all of that, but that's just like that general breakdown. So these were all done on different layers in Fresco. So I'm going to go ahead and now open up a brand new layer, which is located here and just that button right there. So this is where I take a step back, make sure I'm happy with it, and then I'll use the vector brushes in Fresco. And that's why I love using Fresco and exporting into Illustrator. So I'm going to now use the vector round brush. So if I tap on that, these are all so I think this is like the breakdown when like the window that you would see when you tap on vector brushes. I'll tap on basic and then the round brush. And the difference I like to do is I like to go at the very bottom right here and just turn up my smoothing to 100. So I think usually the default's like 50. So just increase that to 100%. Yeah. And then I'll just change my colors so I can make sure I know that I'm using the vector brushes. I'm just going to test out the size of this brush. I feel pretty good about it. So I'm going to now really just get in there and draw the final product. Let me check in with everyone as well. Where do you find your inspiration? I know. I feel like inspiration, it's like a really easy thing, but then also it can be challenging. So, I mean, for me, I feel like I come up with the best ideas when I'm like just like taking a walk. I know that's like a very generic answer, but I do think about like different visuals and just the things that make me happy. And then I'll start brainstorming that way and take a couple of notes in my notes app. Um, and I also like to just I'm like a big foodie as well. So whenever we're like eating out, I'll take a look at like all the beautiful food that comes out and just kind of like seeing like how the color that they're using like colorful vegetables and like just like how that kind of all comes together. And I feel like that provides like just like inspiration to me. Of course, I like to go to coffee shops and just kind of doodle things like what I see around. And yeah. So like that's just like the inspiration part. It's not like I'm gonna come up with like the final general idea, but I think after I'll get my ideas out, then I'll take a step back and just think about, okay, like this greeting card, what are elements that make me so happy that I'd love to see? And this is kind of how I came up with this design. Yeah, nature, I love that. Amazing. It is very grounding for sure. Oh, thank you, Maggie. So yeah, let's go ahead and get started with the vector brush. So I'm going to just, I want to create like a very hand-drawn feel. So I'm not going to make this box like super straight. I feel okay about that. And then, yeah, so again, I'm using the vector brushes. It's very important that we're using the vector brushes here. Okay, so now I'm going to actually open up a new layer. So I like to think of it as just like drawing all the elements on separate layers just to like help me when I'm building it out in Illustrator. So now I'm going to draw the bow right here. Okay. Okay. I'm going to draw this one. And this is like a great time when I'm just like drawing the final illustrations. I'll think about the color palette and how I want to like bring this all together. So you'll see in my Illustrator file, I have just like my usual color palette that I use often. So I'm going to use that. But yeah, this is a great time for y'all to think about like what are a few color options that you can incorporate into your artwork. So now I'll draw the cherry here. So with the cherry, I'm going to also draw on a separate layer as well. I'm just going to draw on the layer underneath the cherry. And I think it does take some time to kind of get used to opening up new layers every time. But I I learned the hard way before where I would just do it all in the same layer. I was like, I'll just figure out later. And it was really challenging. Um, so I do my best to get into the habit of opening up a new layer every time I draw a new illustration, especially if it's layered like this. Okay, these are like the sprinkles. And what's nice about it, if it's on a separate layer, then if I want to like move this entire thing, I can. Okay. So now with that, let's open up a new layer. Yeah, so oh yeah, Bruce, I'll go ahead and color it in Illustrator. I can do it in Fresco as well. I've done both. I think it's just like a preference thing. I'll go ahead and color a couple of elements in Fresco and then build it out in Illustrator as well. So that way you can see both. Yeah, so this is where I'll just draw a couple of the confetti, not all of them. Maybe I want like, I think for this confetti, I'll draw different variations of it. Okay, sorry. I know I keep moving it around. I know I say different variations, but I know it looks the same. Just a little bit smaller. Yeah, I feel pretty good so far. Maybe I'll do another circle. Okay, so then I'm gonna draw the bows here. I'm gonna draw another one so I can have options. Nice. Okay, so now on a new layer, I'll go ahead and do the hand lettering portion. And to make it easier as well, if you go to the precision tab, I guess, that one, you can turn on your grids just to make it a little bit easier. Okay. So taking, okay, I'm gonna zoom in a little bit. But I think it's always nice to watch another like artist workflow and process and just see how they just like design and sketch things around. I feel like there it's really fun to watch and there's a lot of great things you can learn from it as well. Okay. So I can also like fix the spacing here, make things a little bit bigger, but you can also again do it in Illustrator. It is definitely your preference. I'm just kind of like moving things around with spacing. I know. So with spacing, it can be really, really hard. I like to, I feel like this tip a lot of artists have used, but um, I feel like mine's like a really simple version of it. So if let's say I made my brush size a little bit bigger, I can kind of like tap in between the letters and just kind of like help me see visually like the spacing and how I can like move things around. That helps me just to make sure it's good, but I also like to just eyeball everything as well. But yeah, that is that example. Okay, so I'm gonna go back to my brush size. I like to have it at like 14.5. Okay, make this a little bit bigger or longer. So with the birthday, this is also the best way just to like, if you're not happy with the spacing, go back, open up the or use a pencil brush again, and then just sketch it out even like just like refine what you already created. I used to think the first version had to be like the final version, but no, it's not the case. You can always redraw and rewrite as well, just to like make sure when you are creating the final one, you're happy with it, right? But yeah, that's like a good way just to like take a step back and just really reemphasize a few of the strokes and um yeah. But if you do that, make sure you just draw everything on a new layer. I think I was on a sketch layer already. So I'm just going to open up a new layer for that. I'm going to actually recolor the like the new sketch that I did, so that way I know that it's a sketch. Okay. So now opening up my vector brushes again. Okay. I'm just opening up the comments. Oh, I love that question, Bruce. Now, I will not open up as a PNG. I'm actually just going to export it. And that's why I think I love using Fresco and the way like it communicates with Adobe Illustrator. But yeah, it'll be really nice. So what I will do, because I don't know if this brush size is the same thickness. Okay. I feel like my sketch is a little bit too tight, so I'm going to just move it around or like move the letters to the left every time I write so I can keep track of the spacing. Well, it's not ideal, but it helps me to make sure the spacing is pretty good. Okay, I don't like how I did that one. Okay, yay. Feel good about that. Now just taking a step back and seeing it looks good. Let me just move this ribbon around. So I can resize everything in Illustrator, but I feel good about that. Yeah. So I'm going to just recolor a couple of things you can see. Let me see what I want to do. Let's go ahead and recolor. So if you want to recolor, just find the layer you drew the illustration on and just tap on it. Nice. And then you can also recolor a couple of the other items. Yeah, it's definitely, I think it's just your preference. I mean, there's times where like I'm not on my computer, I just want to stay on my iPad, then I'll just go ahead and do everything here. But I think it's always nice to also see just like the ideas and stuff. So the thing is, I'm going to have to, in Illustrator, create like the solid shapes. So these are just like outlines that I created, and I'll create the solids, like kind of like the background, I guess, for the illustration in Illustrator. But you can also do it here. I would just duplicate it. Let me do it for this example. Let me duplicate this present. So I'm duplicated the present, and I'm going to choose the background. Okay, let me hide my original. So yeah, it would just be like that, and then I'll put that on top. And just hiding the initial one, make sure. Yeah, that's pretty much what I would do. Yeah, and I think it's always nice to combine the sketch layers. So I'm going to just merge, just choose my layer and hit merge down and merge down. So that way the sketch layer is on a single layer and I can turn it on and off in Illustrator. So now when I feel good about my illustrations and just I'm ready to create the final product, I'm going to choose this like box with the arrow pointing outwards. And I do hope you all have this option. Basically, I will export it this way. There's like an option for open a copy in Illustrator, and I'll hit Illustrator desktop. And that's when I'll get started in there. So it'll say like document sent, and then we'll go ahead and move over to that. But yeah, let me know if you have more questions as well. Okay, so this is my desktop. So you'll see that it kind of gave me a notice like import option. I'll just hit OK. And yeah, this is the file. I guess I was drawing everything upside down. That's why it is upside down. But you'll see how it beautifully exports. And now I have this file that I can use and bring over to my current greeting card file that I'm working on. So I feel good. I'm going to put my iPad away for now. Okay, and let's get started on this on Illustrator. So in the meantime, I'm going to just double check your all comments. Yeah, awesome. When did you learn to hand letter spacing? I know, I definitely agree. Yeah, so I hope that tip was helpful in terms of just like that breakdown that I provided, like just adding the dots. And I think it's just like taking a step, like sketching it out first, taking a sketch back, or taking a step back and seeing how you like the composition, maybe playing around with it there. But yeah, no, if you have further questions, feel free to reach out to me. Love teaching it as well, so it's really fun. Okay, so this is my file now that I'll be using. So now I'm going to open up the layers tab. I know, I just like to search for everything, okay? And I'm just going to turn off, like, you can see how I can turn it on and off. So basically, because we use the vector brushes, these are all vectors now, which I think it's so fun and just a really easy way versus exporting it into like as a PNG file and then doing like the image trace. So that's the reason why I just love using the vector brushes that way. And this is kind of where all the magic happens, where I'll just provide that breakdown. So I'm going to actually copy this all. And I'm going to bring it over to my other file that I've been working on because I have my color palette that I feel good about using, then that I want to use for this. So then I'll just go ahead and paste it into here. And I think it's helpful so you can see what the final product will look like on the left-hand side. Yeah. So when I build it out in Illustrator, I feel like there's so many ways, right, to create the final product. I just I like to do things a little bit differently. So if you're wondering why I'm doing it one way, I know there's like so many ways to create it, right? So hopefully my process is helpful in some way as well. So this is where I'll just resize like the happy birthday because I want that to be like the focus and I want to make sure the spacing's all good. So I like to just highlight the text and just group everything along with the birthday as well. So that way, if I want to move things around, it moves as an entire piece. Um, Let me see. Okay, now I think I'm pretty happy with this. Actually, let's ungroup really fast and I can make this Y a little bit smaller. You can also group each single letter. Basically, like every time I lifted the pencil on Fresco, you'll see that it created like a separate line. Okay, so I just like to just align everything, make sure I feel good about it. Okay, so I think in terms of spacing, I could move it out a little bit to the right. Okay, I'm going to just leave it like that. We can always explore it around later or explore again and fix things. Okay, so this is just like the general idea. I feel good about that. So I'll just group that entire thing together. And this is where I'll start building out all the fun things. So I'm going to just add my ribbon here. And I think for this one, let's go ahead and use the other ribbon that I drew. I think they look really similar. And I'll just like change the direction of it a bit. You'll see on here on the final one, I just made one lower, one higher. Do that. I think it was just like based on how I ended up utilizing the confetti around the piece. Yeah, so now with this, I'm going to recolor this cherry. So I know I'm just gonna eyedrop everything and just eyedrop like the colors that I've been using. And then I believe when you open up Pathfinder, just hit merge and unite. Yep. And it just kind of creates the full piece. It'll fill everything, I guess. Sorry. I know I'm like cheating. So I'm going to just use a eyedropper to just reference my past design and just merge and unite as well. But yeah, that's my first portion. So with this one, I'm actually going to copy this, copy, and then I'm going to delete a couple of things. I don't want the cherry there. I'm going to recolor. I basically want the cake to have like a background. I know I might be doing it the longest way possible, but I can't remember if I wanted it to be like a light pink. So I think I'm going to choose this one. And there's another option if you don't want to use like the Pathfinder option. There's like a shape builder, which I thought was really cool. I discovered it last year and I thought that was a really fun way just to do things a little bit faster if you have a lot going on. And then I'm just going to Command F and just paste on top the artwork that I originally did. Okay, so now I'm going to choose all the confetti. I decided to just choose it one by one. So in case you're wondering why I'm doing it this way. Okay, so now I think the confetti, I'm just going to just choose white. So that way it stands out. I feel like it's nice and it kind of comes together. So you'll see that I like to just kind of reuse the same elements and colors here. So I feel good about this. I think the pink shade is a little bit different. That's okay. Okay, so let me go ahead and now I feel like now it's just a matter of like just exploring like the spacing and see how I'm liking things coming together. I'm actually going to move all this confetti away from it so I can um, just copy and paste the other illustrations. So I'll go to transform, reflect, and just vertical. Okay, so I feel good about this. Maybe I'll move the present a little bit down here. I'm going to copy and paste that as well. Yeah, so I started this whole like just reusing the elements. I think I just spent so much time before drawing every single illustration. I feel like it had to be different. And I just one day was like, I feel like it's kind of stopping me from creating. I feel really overwhelmed. So just by reusing the elements, it kind of made it a little bit more possible to like create the final product. Because I can create things and never finish the artwork. So that's kind of why I decided just to like reuse the elements and showcase it today. In case you're ever wanting just to create something but not sure where to start, just draw like two of your favorite things and reuse that throughout the illustration. Yeah. So now taking a step back, I can kind of bring in the confetti now. And I'll just kind of bring it one by one. So whatever I do on like the top half, I'm just going to mirror it to the bottom half. So let's say I want to draw. I'm just going to maybe resize a couple of these elements. Like group some of the things that are not solid. Maybe this circle. And I think at this point, for me, there's like not really like a specific way of doing it. It's just taking a step back and seeing all the negative space and seeing how I can fill it in with the confetti. So I'm just gonna like just like move the direction a little bit just to make it a little bit different. Yeah, I feel good about this. Oops. Oh, thank yeah, the color palette. Um, I think it's like really hard. It took us some time to really explore like the colors that really make me happy and just putting it together. I do a lot of test versions where I'll basically like create like just like colors that I like, and then I'll just like do my best to like overlap it, like kind of seeing like together would that look nice, like these three colors basically. And if it's like too similar, maybe I'll go ahead and just like add in another shade, but you'll see how that's also very similar. So I'll kind of pick and choose. I feel like picking like two three colors is spot on. This is like my entire color palette that I use often, and I'll just alternate and choose between these. But I feel like if you have a lot of options, it can definitely be overwhelming. But yeah, you'll kind of see. So like for example, this one, it does kind of like like if I were to like use them as layers, you wouldn't really see like they don't really stand out. So I'll go ahead and complement it with like a lighter color. I hope that's helpful to kind of see that breakdown. But yeah, I feel like choosing the ideal color palette, I think is just like a trial and error. First, pick the colors that you like, and then just kind of explore and overlap them and see what you're really like happy about. Or I guess like not like happy, like kind of like seeing what you really enjoy and Like kind of what kind of like emotion and feeling do you have when you see it? Yeah, they're amazing. Great questions. Yeah. Yeah, Bruce. I hope that was helpful to see that. So yeah, all the layers that I created in Fresco, it pretty much opened it like the same way in Illustrator, which I think is really nice. So one thing I'm not like loving is that because I these triangles, I decided to make it a little bit smaller. The thickness did change from the other artwork, so I'll just explore and play around with this a little bit. I'm just gonna add like a stroke to it. I'll just like do like 0.6 and see. Okay, no, that is. Let's do like 0.1. I think the 0.01 was actually nice. But yeah, it's just a matter of like now at this point, it's just kind of seeing how I like the elements and just copying and pasting a couple of things. But yeah, I hope this was really helpful. Just see that breakdown. I'm gonna try to finish this up here, and then I'll get to like more questions in a second. Yeah. Okay, so now I can maybe copy this section over here and bring it back down here. I'm just gonna rotate the direction a bit. Okay, so maybe I will like that would look okay. Okay, I'm almost done with just figuring out the spacing. But yeah, I mean, like, I guess there's times where I'll complete this, and if I'm just like not feeling 100%, I'll honestly just take a break and come back to it the next day. I feel like we get so caught up with the design aspect, and I used to always have this thing where it had to be done the day, like the same day I brainstormed and created it. But I think, especially because I'm making so many card variations and just wanting to make a whole collection for the summer, it's been really helpful for me just to take a step back and see, like, as a collection, is it like, does it match? And like, is it coming together the way that I hoped? Let me just delete this ribbon. But yeah, so far I'm feeling good about this. I'm I feel like I'm quite done. Just adding a couple more elements and going from there. Maybe I will rotate this a bit. Yeah, so now I'm just gonna highlight the whole thing and just maybe like move it around the entire frame. But yeah, I feel good about this. I'm just gonna now recolor a couple of elements. I'm just gonna highlight this and I'm just gonna color pick from my last the previous artwork. And then, yeah, so I'll just go ahead and just choose like at random of the squares or the triangles that I'm doing. Maybe this set, I want it to be like the color yellow. And I'm just gonna like go at random until I'm done with my last one. And it's just like really just taking a step back and seeing what options I can choose. Maybe this one. I'm gonna do this like pinkish color. I'm reading all the comments as well. But yeah, so we have like about a few more minutes. Feel free if you have some last minute questions, reach out to me. But you can also contact me on Instagram at Letters by Shells. I'd love to chat with you and yeah, just to meet you. Okay, so I feel good about this. I thought I was done. I'm almost done. I'm just making sure that when I'm choosing the colors, I don't want the same exact colors next to each other. I feel like I can do like another yellow. And yeah, I think it looks I think it came together. I mean, it looks pretty similar to the one on the left, which is I did that intentionally since I wanted to create this card with y'all today. So what I like to do next is so this dimension that like this artboard again that I'm working on, it is 4.25 by 5.5. And if I wanted to kind of see how it comes together on this, like if I get the cards ordered, it's going to be printed on this size instead. It's like 8.75 by 5.75, and we're going to fold it in half. So you'll kind of see what that looks like. So I'm going to choose another, yeah, this is the artboard. So let's say we have that. I'm just going to like copy and paste like the artwork just to see as a card, this is just what's going to come together. And usually for the companies that you order from, they'll have like the specific requirements. I definitely recommend looking into that because then there is like a cut line that they're going to be using. And then I'll just add my information here, my logo, and other additional things that I want to add. But yeah, I think for this set, I'm just going to do blank cards. I don't think I'm going to add any like additional text inside. Um, and I think aside from that, yeah, like overall, like if you feel good about this, I think this is good. If you wanted to also like add a background, you can do that. So let me kind of show you what that would look like. Let's choose this one. I'm just going to copy a previous background layer and I'm going to put it on. So I think the artwork is on, oh, it's on layer 2. So I'm going to just like open up a new layer and put it underneath it. I like to make sure the background color is on a separate layer so I cannot, if I ever want to like lock the entire layer, I can. But yeah, I think this looks great and just kind of seeing what that color option would look like. That's that. So yeah, I mean, I feel like there's a lot more other things I would love to cover. I will be doing more live sessions. So if you have any like requests, feel free to reach out to me over at Letters by Shells on Instagram. I'm going to, I think we have like 1 more minute, so I will check your comments in the live chat and see if you have any questions for me. Oh. But yeah, Bruce, I can't wait to see your artwork. But yeah, thank you so much, everyone, for allowing me just to share my process and my art breakdown, and just really having the time to just be open to creating and exploring the Fresco app and Illustrator as well. I really had a great time. Thank you all so much again. Again, you can find me over at Letters by Shells on Instagram and on my website, lettersbyshells.com as well. But yeah, thank you so much, everyone. Enjoy your week, and I hope to catch you in the next live. Thank you so much. Take care. Bye.